And we are now live.
Hey guys.
Hi guys. We're officially welcoming you to our first ever live. I think we haven't done one in a really, really long time. And today we're gonna talk to Kris, one of our oldest and dearest Instagram friends, about rituals, a little bit about mornings, a little bit about evenings. And yeah, we're just gonna keep it really natural. We're just waiting for Kris to join. He has already joined. Kris, please request to be in our video so we can accept you. There he is.
Awesome.
Go live with Kris. Let's see if it worked. I hope it worked connecting.
Yes.
Hi!
Hey,
Hey, so cool to meet you.
Great to have
finally.
you.
so cool to meet you too. We've been Instagram friends for a while now.
I
Yes.
know.
This
I
is
was just saying.
the first face-to-face chat, and I'm pretty excited to see you guys, see your smiling faces.
Us
I like-
too.
I love the red light.
Yeah,
we,
we
we are already winding down a bit. So.
We got all in tune with evening routines, unwinding for the day. So we thought red light therapy definitely is part of that. So
Beautiful.
that's why we have it here.
And it's 6 p.m. your time. Where are
Yes.
you? Where are you located again?
In Austria.
Austria. Wow. And I'm in Victoria, BC, Canada, on the west coast.
And you just came from the ocean, right?
I got back from the ocean about an hour and a half ago.
Nice.
So
Wow.
I get up every morning at 5 a.m., roughly 5 a.m. Sometimes I push it to 5:30, and just to give myself a little bit of time before I go for a drive.
Nice.
I drive about a half an hour to go to the beach every morning and half an hour back. So it's an hour's worth of driving for about a 10 to 15 minute dip in the cold ocean.
Nice.
But I get to meet really cool people every morning out there and connect and enjoy cold ocean medicine.
And you are
good.
at the beach before sunrise, right? So you
Right
see the
now.
sunrise. Oh.
Yeah. Right now, our little group, we're committed to going for 6:30 just to keep some sort of routine going for everybody that has a work or a job to go to right after. So I think we're a couple months off before we have sunrises at 6:30 in the morning again.
Amazing.
But it rises about 8 a.m. right now.
Yeah, here it's kind of the same, I think. So we all also always go for a walk in the mornings, and
First
No.
thing we do in the
Experience the
mornings
sunrise.
is just get
That's
out,
for us.
fresh air, look into the sky. That's so important. Otherwise, the day doesn't feel right, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right, literally, right? And I haven't been working a traditional job for the last year, so I'm not going to a 9 to 5 or my job before I was free to work from home was I would go work at 7 a.m. in the morning, and sometimes 5 a.m. in the morning is when I would start working. So I wouldn't see get any outside time until after. And I was often falling asleep by 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock just so I could get up and have my morning routine, which is so important, right?
Yes.
Something that I developed about 7 years ago was a morning routine that ended up being about 3 to 4 hours of my morning before I would go to work. Because I found that I suffered with irritability throughout my day, and I didn't really know like why, but I think it was just that rolling out of bed and going and getting work to work before anything else and not looking after myself. So
Totally get you there. I think it's a bit of the same thing for me. So always when I get up and go straight to work to do something, I get things done, but I don't really have the feeling of I have accomplished something worthy today. Because like when I have my morning routine, that is also like 1 or 2 hours. I already feel like I conquered the day. I won. So that's such an amazing feeling, I think.
Yeah.
right, like it's time to conquer yourself and the stuff that you're struggling with, right? And I find it sets me up to respond to the things that come my way rather than react to everything. So it's made such a huge difference in my relationships and my opportunities. I'm so happy to have like discovered the whole morning routine ritual. So
So
Yeah.
what's the whole thing that you do? Because you said you take 3 or 4
Oh,
hours of time to do it. So that's not only dipping into the ocean, I believe.
no, but I'd like to go back a bit, like 7 years ago when I was working a job, going to a job,
Mm,
and my morning routine was often just I'd roll out of the bed and I would drink some water. I always had that down. I woke up at the same
yeah.
time I drank water, went to the gym, and then went to work. But that still wasn't enough.
Mm,
Um, I started listening to a lot of podcasts and learning new things. I came across a book by Hal Elrod called The Morning Miracle, and
Okay.
that just like excited me so much. He was like, "There's just a few things you need to do in the morning. You could boil it down to 5 minutes if you want to. Just hit those five
yeah.
things, and you set yourself up for success during the day." So I was like instantly like, "Oh, like you mean I can create my morning and like be successful?"
Yeah.
So I started doing things like um, drinking a black coffee first thing. Well, after I had my water, I'd get up, always had my water, and
Mm-hmm.
I would practice some gratitude. At first, I'd practice gratitude by typing it into my phone, and then I thought, oh, maybe I'll get like a journal, a real
Mm-hmm.
journal, and because I wanted to solidify the thoughts really and have a more tactile experience.
Mm.
And I would put on some nice music, um, uplifting music or a podcast, something that I could be learning and absorbing new things at the same time. And I would just like enjoy a cup of coffee over my journal. And then when I finish my coffee, especially in the spring when the sun's coming, just before the sun's coming up, I would like to go in the backyard with my bare feet in the grass, and
Mm,
I would meditate in the grass for 20 minutes.
awesome.
And I
So
found
great.
that that was like, I'm never going to stop doing this, right?
Yeah.
But life changes, life circumstances change, jobs change, timing changes, and that routine sort of fell to the wayside, or it ended up being 10 minutes instead of like the whole 4 hours that I would give
Mm-hmm.
myself, because I became like this morning person, or morning like the morning routine police. Like I have to do all these things, and that sometimes um, trying to meet that expectation that I
Yeah.
put on myself was
Yeah.
became a bit of a crutch.
Yeah.
So I learned to sort of let the morning routine unfold. Like I know all the things that I need to do
Mhm.
to fill my cup, and they don't have to go in any certain order ever,
Yeah.
right? Like I can, like this morning I was going to go in the sauna, but I didn't go in the sauna, and I'm totally
Mm-hmm.
okay with that, right?
Yeah.
But I would meditate in the grass, and then I'd be off to go do my work day.
Nice.
And then I'd have a bit of a morning or an evening routine, and it would just be more or less like, what did I do today that was awesome? You know, like what did I achieve? What could I have done better? And what am I going to do to set myself up for success tomorrow?
Mm,
But now I have this wide open playing field to construct my day. I don't have to go to a brick and mortar store to work at or anything, and I get to get up in the morning, go to the ocean every single day, and be in nature, plunge into the cold water and scream underwater, and practice my breath work and in whatever way I want, and shake and move my body on the beach, play with the dog, connect and smile at other people, and when the sun's there, see the sunrise come up. And
mm,
So beautiful.
yeah,
Mm.
and I still practice gratitude in my journal.
Mhm.
It's usually pretty much the first thing I do when I wake up, because
mm.
I don't like to be on the phone first thing in the morning. I find that if I start looking at Instagram,
Mm.
Same.
that's where disarray begins, right?
Yeah.
Totally
And,
true.
I feel like it's all about kind of finding the balance between
Mm.
purpose, consciousness, but also flexibility.
Mm.
Everything that you just said about kind of figuring out what fills your cup
Mm.
totally resonates with me, because I also struggle, I would say, with morning routines, or keeping them up at least.
Yeah.
Because when you start, you're super enthusiastic about what you're going to do, but then it's so hard to keep track of all of those things, and there's so many things that you can do. And I find the same thing that you said as well, just figuring out, it doesn't have to be 10 things, it can be 2 things only. But if that's what gives you happiness that day, or gratitude that day, and if that's the thing that gives you the feeling of winning for the day, or already having that great start, that's what it's all about, I feel like.
Mm.
Totally, right? Like you said, like having the flexibility and not being so rigid, like not beating yourself up because you didn't attain the 10 most important things of your day.
Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be the same two things. Sometimes I feel like going to the sauna in the mornings. Other days I'm like, I want to go for a hike or a run or something, and that's totally fine. There has to be room for that, I think.
Just a question, as I'm curious. So if you say you keep it open, what do you do in the morning during your ritual? Is it then a fixed time frame you have, like 1, 2, 3 hours that you do this ritual, or is it also flexible?
There's flexibility. There's total flexibility in what I do. I do like to start my workday on time. Like I really do, but I don't like stick to like hitting 9 o'clock. If I go 15 minutes over, it's totally cool. Like there's like some domestic things that I like to try to get done because I'm working at home. I can do the dishes at the same time as I'm listening to the podcast. Right? Get the little things done that I don't have to worry about piling up in the background. So like just ticking off little household chores. And it also keeps me moving too in the morning. I think it's so important to move your body first thing. My job as it is right now, I tend to spend a lot of time over my phone or over a computer at a desk. And within 20 minutes, I can feel it in my shoulders. I'm starting to get like this. So I have to get up and run around, and I can do that. So it's super cool. And I can stop like my workday whenever I want. I can take a break whenever I want, like, which is super important. And a very hard lesson that I've learned is to take breaks, like intentional real breaks from everything. Yeah. So I don't know if you find that too with your workday. I imagine it's the struggle between like actually taking a break and getting stuff done. And
yeah, we also work from home at the same time. We're PhD students, and that's also now all shifted to online classes, like with quarantine and everything. So we're spending even more time at home, and I feel like it makes it harder to be conscious and really clear about what time you're working, what time you're online on social media, because you have a small business, and of course social media is needed for that. But then at the same time with Zoom calls and classes and writing your thesis, and there's so much you could do in that day. And I for me personally, the key is being really, really conscious and really clear and really strict.
Being strict, I think
with
being strict with
timelines.
yourself, it's so important. You
I
like
totally
have
see.
this, you like have this feeling that when you get up, okay, I look on my phone, have a look at Instagram or whatever, and then it drags you down this rabbit hole. So
even more time gets spent empty, kind of. So that's also sad, I think. As long as you kind of have, again, a balance between, it's okay to have empty time as well, of course, not every day is perfect, but that balance of feeling purposeful, feeling grateful, and also allowing yourself to take breaks, and because again, it makes your performance better. So it's all a balancing act.
Like all about the awareness and the consciousness of what you're doing. It's especially so with social media when you're using it for pleasure and for business at the same time too. Like how do you differentiate where you put your time and where you right? You're like, you got to put these strict boundaries around. At least I find. I'll wake up in the morning to 20 messages and go, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Do what you're going, right?
You have to. You really have to.
It's not that sometimes like it's not that I don't want to answer messages right away. It's that I have to like clear my mind enough and set the time aside to intentionally be conscious for each message.
But also different time zones, keeping all of that in mind. Because if you answer right away or like engage right away, it's kind of always either too early or too late. So you just have to be really strict about it.
And it's also like for you, I think it's always the problem or the big question. Yeah, it's already late there where this guy is texting me, so I have to check in now to get before we're going to sleep. So I think that's really hard, especially for you, because you want to be on the point and do things.
And I'm the social media person, like 80%, I would say. And we here in Austria, we're like kind of in the future. It's already evening here, and you guys in Canada are only starting your day. And we've been working all day, and then imagine like checking in with clients, customers, new interesting people, which is awesome. But it's already like 9, 10, 11 p.m. here, so you really have to be strict about it.
Yeah.
What time are you getting to bed by?
Now it's getting better. It used to be really, really bad, but like offline time, putting the phone away at the latest at 9 p.m., which is already really late, but we try to be really strict about it.
And do it even earlier, because
even earlier.
What we now really see is, I think for the past 5 months or so, we've been really strictly tracking our sleep and our rituals during the evening.
Yeah.
And so what we really see, and I think that's very interesting, is that if you miss one day, or if you fail one day and go to bed too late, or don't really calm down in the evening, you really have a bad night, one bad night, and then maybe the next 5 days or so you have an average night. And that's really bad, because you drag it along so long. That's really sucks.
I totally understand. I've been putting my phone in airplane mode for over 7 years now. When I realized that I didn't want to hear any like text buzzing from across the room or whatever, because I was like, I got to look at my phone at 2:30 in the morning because I heard it, you know. But I just decided, you know, no more. Like after, I don't know, 6 or 7 at night, like it's airplane mode. So otherwise, just even the stimulus of looking at the phone, just casually scrolling, sometimes that's enough to set off like some thinking in your brain that you're not even aware of, right?
Definitely.
And what if that's like knocking you out of your sleep cycles? And whoa.
Yeah, so that's really bad. And I think it's for a lot of people, they keep their phones like next to their bed or something, and I don't really understand that, because like then you get up 2 or 3 times during the night, and you get really bad sleep every night. But I think it's something that a lot of people do.
Yeah, that's something that I still do, even with the airplane mode. And you know what? You're right. Like I even will wake up to look at what time it is. Well, is it almost 5 o'clock? You know, like I have this internal clock that gets me up about 10, 15 minutes before, and I go, oh, good. And then I do my internal snooze and go back and sleep for another 15 minutes and wake up and then go. But even just having it in airplane mode is still enough to keep me focused on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We always put it in the other room. I think that's
we always have it in the furthest away from the bed, and also in airplane mode. Yeah.
There's something to do with EMFs there too, even in the airplane mode, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, but also the Wi-Fi. I imagine everyone at home. A lot of things, televisions, Wi-Fi's, all electrical appliances.
So we also see, because we had a TV in the bedroom like a year or so ago, and once we like banished it from the bedroom, we also saw that sleep is getting better, not just because we switch it off, but it's also, I think, constantly there, and you think about it, and it's really weird, but cool at the same time. So now we have much better sleep just because we don't have the TV there.
Yeah, like it's a subconscious thing that you've been programmed with. You remove the stimulus, and you adjust. Right?
Yeah, that's also something that I didn't really want to do in the bedroom because a bit of time ago, because we had our closet in the bedroom. It was an open closet where you could see the clothes. Then we had, I think, 2 cupboards or so in there, and we removed everything. So now it's a really plain room, nothing in there, no stimulus, just a dark room. It's really well temperatured and no stimulus at all, and it works so well for us. So that's also like one big hack that we did during the last, I think, 2 years now. So slowly, steadily, we removed all things from there, just have the bed in there now, just have a nightstand in there, and that's it basically.
Nice, very nice. That's something that we're always talking about. We're moving towards removing the phones from the bedroom. We don't have control over the Wi-Fi in the house, though. Our landlord does. He lives right above us. So We find that our Wi-Fi signal is actually quite weak though, and we get a really bad signal in the house anyway. I don't know if that makes a difference in how we sleep, but I can't get internet on my phone.
I think it's about the Wi-Fi box. You shouldn't have, of course you can plug it off at night, but if it's close to you, which it isn't in your case, I think it should be okay.
Yeah, but I think it could really make a difference, because what I realize is we live in a house with like multiple rental units, and when you switch on the phone and look for Wi-Fi signals, we have like 5 or 6 of them that we can receive in every room, and
it's like apartment next to apartment.
It's really crazy. And you can switch them off basically. But what I see when I'm at home, like in the mountains, I mean, it's a total different scenery, but also we don't have Wi-Fi there basically. And I think all those things together, it makes a difference. I think at least, yeah. And
right, and I imagine
we can sense them.
Yeah, I imagine the lighting's different when you're up in the mountains too. Yes. The way that
lighting, the air quality. This is because we live in the second biggest city here in Austria right now, where we study. And for me, I come from the mountains. It's like a tiny village there in the Austrian Alps. And when I go back there, I really I think I can breathe again, because it feels so much lighter, and the air quality feels so much better. So
the first thing we do when we arrive there is just stand there and take a deep breath, because it literally feels like a fresh breath of air.
Yeah.
It must be so shocking to go back then right after, right?
Yeah.
Like how fast, and then the noise pollution that comes in, and all.
It's really crazy, because I only got here again, I think, when was it? 2 days ago or so, right?
Yeah, you were at home.
Because I was at home like for a week, and I realized that for example, my sleep, I had the same sleep rhythm, but it got a bit worse now. And it's something that, first of all, of course, I think the body or your mind has to adapt to new circumstances. But I think it's also a bit the scenery, so the noise potentially out there, also the air quality potentially, and of course, like how you envision your day or how you go about it. And it's more hectic, more stressful in the city, also during lockdown that we have right now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I imagine. And you're not really close to any big bodies of water either, are you? No ocean?
No.
Yeah, we
are. Austria doesn't have an ocean.
Not super.
So we're only surrounded by land, so we don't have an ocean, but we have really beautiful lakes and really big lakes too.
Good. Do you ever get your toes in there?
Yes.
Like
sometimes,
toes and feet, yes. But that's also a thing that we want to approach more in the future, because we only started now, like with cold dipping, cold showers, stuff like that. But we're playing with the idea. Very close to us, there's a park, and we have this river flowing through the park. And that's kind of on our bucket list, but I think it's a process until we get there. But we want to go there in the morning also before sundown and like completely get in there.
Yeah, because like I think it was a month or so ago when we were on our daily walk in the morning. Then we saw a few guys that like went there and got in the water. I think it was at 7 or so in the morning, got in the water. It was super fun. We talked to them and they say, hey, we go there like once or twice a week, and you can come with us. So
and it was a revelation, because here in Europe or Austria in general, biohacking is very unknown. So it's only starting to get here, the idea. And we were on our walk totally talking about biohacking, business, stuff that we can do. And then all of a sudden this group of people comes along, young people our age, and we were so happy just by seeing them. And we ran up to them and started a conversation, because it was such a revelation to see them there.
Yeah, well, it's really cool. This whole the cold therapy is just exploding everywhere. It's been around forever, but it's such an easy entry point for anybody to go in, and you don't have to know a lot about it. You just got to try it and see how you feel, and then you become very religious about it, and you start telling everybody about it. It's like the 100 monkey effect, right? Where it's starting to spill over. There's like so many people in Victoria doing it now. From last year when I started, there was just a few of us and small groups, but now I see people in fairly like large droves starting to come on board with the whole idea of doing this,
Cool.
and people that have never done it, and now they're singing the praises to their friends, and their friends are doing it, and maybe it's something to do with this whole lockdown that's happened. They have more time,
Yes.
more
I was
space.
gonna say the same thing. Yeah, we really get to spend more time with ourselves, even if that sounds really stupid maybe. But I think a lot of people finally get to be themselves now and really reflect on who they are, how they want to spend their time, how they want to achieve health goals, happiness goals, and I think that's a very big part of that, starting with biohacking.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's a really hard thing to do too. It's and people want to do it. They want to, but they think it's crazy. And then they do it, and then they're like, whoa, like I did that for 30 seconds for the first time, and then they're like, I've seen so many people go in for the first time and go running out, and then a year later they're the ones that are diving in the water first. They've overcome so much of their fear around it, and that just bleeds into other things in their lives, and they accomplish other things that they were scared to accomplish before. So the cold water is a good it's a good tool to overcome fear in many different fields in our life, right? Oh,
that's so true. Yeah.
Now I feel like tomorrow we already have to jump into the river.
I see it. That's your next Instagram post, right?
Yeah.
Who's most likely to go in first? Or both at the same time?
I think Babsi is most likely
I would
to go
say
in
me
first,
too.
but then I will rush in before her, I think.
I think I will go in first, but he will stay in longer. He can endure it longer than me.
Potentially, yes.
Well, how cold is it right now?
So I know that after, like, when it gets dark, we have like minus 5 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
But during the day, I think we're like also still really cold, like maybe 0 or
but not
something
super
like
cold,
that.
because we are in the south of Austria, so it's a bit warmer. We don't have snow right now. In the Alps, we have a lot of snow right now. It's like even more than a meter of snow, I think we got last week. And so it's really different climate here.
Yeah, it's always fairly warm here, actually. Like I've found through this winter, it's been between 5 and 10 degrees, even higher during the day. And the water's about 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. The air temperature this morning was 1 degree. So it was cold enough that when you got out, you had to warm up real quick, or your fingers and your toes get frozen. So it's good to be prepared in that case. But this year's been a lot warmer than last year. Last year was sub-zero temperatures that I was swimming in.
Wow.
Well, the water was still 7 to 8. Like it doesn't change much. It'll maybe get up to 15 in the summer. But that's like still cold enough for a newbie to get into the water.
How long do you, like, what's your time in the water? How long do you stay in?
Oh, well, I'd say, like, for me, if it was like a small group of us, we're not talking much, maybe 5 minutes. But if there's a lot of chatting going on and laughter, it can go up to 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's I'm happy with just doing 5. Even less.
But that's super long.
But that's also.
I recently talked to a friend. I mean, I'm doing all of this in the shower now.
Yeah.
But I just recently talked to a friend, and I feel like I'm doing it also for like 3-4 minutes. And then afterwards, I feel like the whole day, I can't really warm up. Like my body needs more heat. And then I talked to him, and he said, definitely don't do over 2 minutes, because that's a sign of you, first of all, not properly warming up afterwards, and maybe getting dressed too fast, but also doing the exposure time for too long. So 5 or 15 minutes sounds endless to me.
No, but I think he didn't say it's too long, but he says even at 2 minutes or so, you can get most of the benefits you will get. So he says, hey, you don't have to be in there so long.
Yeah.
But then, of course, I think it's also a mental thing that you train yourself, and that you experience this state of silence. I think, because that's a lot of people tell, if you're in this really cold water, your whole mind focuses on like being there, being in the moment,
right,
probably surviving somehow. And
right.
that's really cool. It's like an instant meditation, some people tell,
Yeah.
right? Mm.
Yeah. Well, I often tell people that 90 seconds to 2 minutes is long enough. You don't have to go in that long. I think what happens with these groups is we get in there and we just get so excited and overdo
Yeah.
it. But 90 seconds is perfect. And the cold shower is totally different than doing the cold
Yeah,
full cold
for
immersion.
sure.
Like I don't like cold showers. I
Okay.
don't like them. I don't go out of my way to do them. It's a totally different experience. I got to twirl around, move around, shake my body,
Yeah.
adjust. So there's a little bit more there, right?
Yes.
So kudos to you for getting in the cold shower.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I just see a comment here from Christopher. He said he was minus 12 degrees outside
Wow.
after his swim. That's
crazy.
wow. How did you
My
sleep after that,
respect to
Chris?
Then the
you.
water is like, I think even at something like a bit over zero, maybe. 0
And
degrees.
is like the I think superficially it might be frozen and
Might
you
be
have to
frozen.
like dig a hole into it and then get into it. That's awesome.
That's something I've never done. I have a friend in Peace River, Alberta, that cuts a hole in the ice every day and gets in.
Yeah, it's
Unreal,
also
eh?
a friend of ours in Switzerland, Rolf Duda. He recently did a video on our blog, and there he was like up in the mountains in the mountain lake, and it was also freezing out there. I think also maybe something like minus 12 degrees or even colder.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And he went in this huge lake and swam around. So really crazy. Yeah,
Oh wow!
could see
Wow.
all the ice floating on top.
Unreal. So since it's evening, I guess we haven't really talked about like totally what your evening routine looks like.
True.
So what does that look like for you guys?
I think also following the same principle like we said in the mornings, having the balance between being purposeful, conscious, but also still flexible. So for me personally, the most important thing is like light environment. And yeah, we just see that our like blue light exposure is less, or we turn off all of those lights that don't benefit our health so much or can even disrupt sleep. And then we have lights like this one in the background, where like our apartment is lighted that way. What else do we do?
I think what we mainly try to do now is to focus on something like, I would say, quote unquote, a primal lifestyle. So basically like you lived 100 or 200 years ago, or even longer ago, so that we try to minimize distractions a lot, try to minimize TV a lot, to be honest. Sit together around the fire, I would say. So we switch off the lights, or only have like reddish lights, or really, really warm light sources. And we like to talk. We like to drink something warm, like a tea or so. Talk, reflect on the day, what we achieved, also potentially what's on our mind, because what we see, or what I often see, is like when you have something on your mind, you take it with you to sleep. And of course, it's good to dream and to basically work on those problems, but it's also for me personally, I think it's even better if I get these things out of my system, have them cleared up on paper or when we discuss them, and then I get much deeper sleep and not so much dreamy sleep. So,
That's awesome, really, actually, because we have different like pathways to release toxins. So, in the same thing with your mind and what you're carrying in there, if you release them through speaking and through dreaming, that's just an extra way to drain that pathway. And
definitely,
yeah.
We see that it works well, and that if we take the time in the evening to really like connect with each other, it works really well for us.
That's really our time. That's what we're also really strict about, because we work so much and it's awesome. But during the evenings, we really like check our light environment. The biggest luxury is going offline, even though there are time differences. We like really allow ourselves to just put the phone away and just leave it for the next day.
Yeah, and of course also sometimes we mixed it up quite a bit and are flexible about it. Sometimes we don't eat it at night, in the evening. Sometimes we do. But then we try to really focus on the act or on cooking itself, having something, preparing something together, and then having like a quick or having a small lunch, small dinner, sorry, small dinner.
I imagine you're trying to keep that as close to sundown as possible too.
Yeah, like around 6, 7, the latest if we have dinner, I would say, because you don't want to go to sleep with a full stomach. Even if you're not fasting, I think like 2-3 hours at least you shouldn't have food before you go to sleep.
But it's also something that I think we're still trying out, because we see sometimes it works for us that if we don't eat anything, we have good sleep and are relaxed or recover well. And sometimes we need some kind of food in the evening to really get a restful night. So
are you tracking with an Oura ring?
No, I'm tracking with a Whoop band.
Okay.
So I tried out a few devices, and this one works quite well for me.
Cool.
Yeah, so
awesome.
What I think and what I like about it is that you really see these immediate changes. So if you do something, I'm not sure, because I heard about the Oura ring. I didn't try it so far. I heard that maybe sometimes you have 1 or 2 days of delay that you see all those data basically that your body changes. But I think it's all of those they help you if you look closely. So,
it's just some parameters or some data to go by to help you guide you towards better decisions maybe.
Yes. So for me, it's really like if I look at the data, it really keeps me on track, because as I said earlier, what I really see is that if I like stay up too long or work on the computer in the evening or something, it is really like 3 whole or 4 or 5 whole days of not good sleep at all, just for 2 hours of staying up late or something like that. And that's really, if you look at these data and if you look at how long your body takes to recap and to recover, it really not scares you, but scares you a bit, and it makes you aware of better doing things like they are intended for you, like how you want them to do.
Right. So no more late work for you.
Yes.
Right. No more. And I think I'll definitely be turning my device off a little earlier tonight.
What do you do in the evenings?
Oh, well, evenings aren't as regimented as my mornings are, but we do have some rituals around when we eat. We definitely try to have our biggest meal of the day between 12 and 2 o'clock, and a smaller meal before 5. But there are those odd nights where life gets in the way, and dinner gets cooked maybe a couple hours later, and I think that's okay. And I like what you said about like sometimes when you go to bed on an empty stomach, sleep isn't necessarily as good as you think it would be. So I've observed nights where I've had better sleep having been up late, had lots of light in my eyes, bad light in my eyes. I drank beer, had glutinous burgers, and I have no rhyme or reason why that would give me a better sleep. But that doesn't always happen. Just sometimes maybe I just overstimulated myself, and my body and my brain were like, done, right? So I had the best night of sleep. I went to the Bulletproof conference 2 years ago, and we went to a pub. I drank a beer, had a hamburger, and we flew home and didn't get home here until 1 a.m. in the morning. I had the best sleep ever.
Wow.
We went to Universal Studios before we left too, and I got shook on all the rides. So I think I just probably overstimulated my nervous system to the point that it was just exhausted,
knocked out.
And I don't I think I've told you before, I don't typically get a lot of deep sleep according to my Oura ring. It ranges on like the regular between 1 and 10 minutes, maybe 20 if I'm lucky.
Wow.
So, but my REM is anywhere, I've seen it go up to 8 hours. I don't know. That was when I first started getting the ring. It doesn't do that anymore. Now the most I might get is 4 hours, which is still pretty high for REM.
But do you dream a lot? Do you dream a lot?
When my REM is that high? I don't remember.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's also kind of like that. I like 95% of my sleep, I think I don't dream, so I don't remember any dreams.
Mm. Yeah, so when it's like 4 hours, I don't remember dreams. So when it's closer to two, then the dreams are more, I can remember them. And also, like, what's interesting, if you notice when you sleep in past when you would normally wake up, your REM will extend, right? Because the REM cycles are in the latter half of the night. So I will often have more memorable dreams if I decide to sleep just a little extra, like an hour. So
That makes sense.
little trick to get more REM if you're lacking it. Just sleep in.
Just sleep in.
But I can't say for the deep sleep piece though for myself definitively what works. I've observed that red light on occasion on the head will give me a boost.
Yes, definitely. We see that as well. So when you get it on the forehead before bed, it's a really restful sleep. I think for me, it's oftentimes that, or not oftentimes, but sometimes that I have slight headaches during the sleep, and it really kills my sleep quality. And so if I do a red, or even better for me, near infrared light on the forehead, it really I relax everything, and I have the deepest sleep ever. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it motivates me to keep doing that over and over again. I've also was told that on the stomach too, for the gut bacteria, that's a good spot for sleep. But I haven't noticed whether that's given me a boost or not. I quite often I'll get a boost in deep sleep, and I'll go, oh, all the things I did that day, I'm going to do them again, and then the next day it doesn't do anything. So.
I experienced the same thing. I think it's every day is just a little different.
Yeah.
So it's
what I've noticed about when you say stomach and gut, what I've experienced, I experimented with different forms of bacteria like a year or so ago, like with lactobacilli, so from bacteria from milk. And it really changed my sleep a lot. So I suddenly had longer, I could remember dreams better and so on. This was really weird.
I wonder if maybe that's the tryptophan in the milk. I find quite often that if I eat a lot of turkey or cheese or yogurt, I like to have some really high fat yogurt with cherries in it. Yeah. And cherries are good for melatonin. Yeah. And so you get the tryptophan in the yogurt and the good gut bacteria. Put some walnuts in there that feed the prebiotics. Whatever. I get that all mixed up. But like all that together is a good little cocktail to help me get better sleep. Just a small bowl of that.
There's something there.
That's super interesting.
But that's me. So like yogurt, cherries, and walnuts.
We gotta try that.
but the fatty yogurt, because that's like and grass fed and like high quality.
That's super interesting. Yeah, but for me it was really like these bacteria, and I ate the yogurt I think in the evening always. Yeah. Also with like fruit, like berries and so, and it really upped my dream rememberability basically.
Right, it's like because the yogurt's giving your gut all that good all the good microbes, right? And then the stuff you put in your yogurt is the food for the microbes, so maybe just
new hypothesis to test out.
It gets me motivated because to try it out again, because at that time I didn't track my sleep like a year or 2 years ago, and now I do, so maybe I could see some changes in REM and so on. Would be interesting.
We'll definitely try that. That's super interesting.
All right, go get some more yogurt.
More high-fat yogurt and cherries.
Yes.
We're gonna get
That's amazing.
Let me just check if we got some questions, because I was so focused on you that I didn't even check if something got in. But if you guys, I think we're kind of coming to the end of the session. If someone has any questions, we're just talking about routines, mornings, evenings, what we do, some small hacks. If anyone has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, but otherwise, it was really nice talking to you. I think we should do this more often.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It was
so
really
much fun.
insightful, and I think what's interesting is all those little things that maybe you don't really know so far, and that come together in something like that, some discussion like that.
Yeah, collaboration, right?
Yes.
Is key.
Yes. That's the fun part about Instagram. That's why it's so hard to put it away in the evenings. Because you learn so much, you read so much. It's like,
Oh yeah, Instagram's been great for building relationships and learning, like for myself, right? And so just important to have boundaries around it so you don't get sucked down the rabbit hole and lost and distracted as you, right?
True.
So it's been lovely talking with you.
You too. It was really nice to meet face to face finally after talking for so long.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
It's been about a year, true. Yeah, so have a nice day. Your days are only starting.
Day,
Just gonna go to work, and you're gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, we're gonna go offline now.
Awesome. All right. Have a great sleep, you too.
Thank you so much, and talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for the
Love you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.